Evening students, I'm Dr. Shubhi, and in this session we will learn how to read data from a CSV file into a data frame and how to apply some kind of commands and how to introspect the data. So let's first of all see that we have Panda library where I'm importing the Panda library over here. Likewise, I've also imported the NumPy library. So the very first command that I will do is that I will be using the read CSV function of Panda library where I'm writing pd.read CSV, and here I'm giving the entire path. So my path goes like lectures python and telecom customer.csv. So this telecom customer.csv is my comma separated file, which is basically an Excel file which is saved in the format of CSV, and lecture and python is my path. Now you will ask me, what is this R? So this R basically means raw string. So whenever we write R over here, this entire string will be taken as a path and not as string data type. So that is why we are using R over here. Now let's quickly see what is there in our file. So I'm writing df.head. So let's see what is there in the file. So this is my little data where there are 5 records in the file. Suppose I want to see 3 records, top 3 records. First 3 records, not top 3 but first 3 records. So I will find the first 3 records of my database file. Now suppose I want to see one column, a particular column, let's say customer ID of my file. How will I go about it? So I have started applying what you can say select and filters. So this is, I'm selecting a particular column. So my column is customer ID and I write df and within brackets cust ID. So the moment I write cust ID and I press enter, so I will get all the customer IDs and I can see there are 18 customers over here. So that is how I have retrieved one particular column. Now suppose I want to have one more column over here, let's say tenure. So for the tenure column, again I have to put that in square bracket in quotes, and yes, I have to give one more square brackets because I am using 2 column names. So I write df cust id and tenure and I press enter. So this is my these are my 2 columns of the file. So this is how I am retrieving data from my CSV file, and this CSV file is what? This is my MS Excel file which is stored as CSV format. So this is one thing. Now suppose I want to know the length of my data frame. How can I go about it? There is a len function where I just pass the data frame and I press enter. So I come to know that there are 18 records of my data frame. So this is one thing I came to know. Now suppose this is about the length of the data frame. Now suppose I want to have a list of values where my tenure is equal to, let's say, 66. I want to have the record of those particular customers where the tenure is 66. How will I go about it? Definitely I'll apply one filter condition over here. So I'm proceeding towards filter. For your ease, I'm just inserting one cell above and I'm showing you the head so that you can see what all things are there in my table, what all columns are there. Quickly you can see over here head 2. I'm just showing you 2 records. So you can see these are my heads, customer ID, tenure, monthly charges. So one thing you have to understand is that when I'm saying df dot tenure is equal to 66. So what I'm doing, I'm applying a filter over here. Now whichever record, whichever row will satisfy this criteria that tenure is equal to 66, only those records will be displayed. So you here in the output you can see there are 2 customer IDs 5 and 13 which are having tenure equals to 66. Now one thing you must understand over here that if I write df dot tenure equal to 66, what it returns? This is a boolean condition and it will only return true false. So by default it will return true false for all the records. So for the first record it is false. Reason, it is not 66. So it is 66 for record number 4 and record number 12. So by default it is giving you a boolean value. Now suppose I want to have only the record set where these 2 conditions are satisfied. So I have put that into df. Now suppose I don't want all the columns. I don't want customer ID, tenure, monthly, everything. No, I don't want. So what I will do, I will start selecting the columns now. How? First I am taking cust ID because I want the customer ID, that who is that person who is having a tenure of 66 months. Then I'm very inquisitive about his payment method. Let's say I want his payment method, and let's say I'm also interested in his monthly charges. So what I'm doing, monthly charges. So this is my list of columns which I want for the particular two customers. So one thing you have to make sure that when we are passing a list of values, that list has to go into square brackets, and this outer green bracket is basically specifying that these are the number of columns. So now understand this query first. This first is a row filter where we are applying a filter on the row, that whichever row is qualifying this criteria or satisfying this condition, that when the tenure is 66, I want only those rows. So once those rows are selected, out of those rows, I only want the three fields: customer ID, payment method, and monthly charges. And then I press enter. So you can see that this is my little table out of a huge data set where I can see that customer 5 and 13 are such customers. They have their payment method is NEFT and their monthly charges are 199. So this is my little subset which is my area of interest. I only want to see this kind of data. If suppose I want to add one more column over here, I also want to see, let's say, though the data is all dummy, but let's say date of join. So I'm also interested on which date he joined. Okay, so this is how I'm getting the data. So I can add columns, I can delete columns. So I hope this much is clear to everyone. After this, we will see one more very interesting concept of data frames, and that is called as finding out how many such records are there. So what we will do, I'm just copying this for you all. I've copied this. You can see over here that all those records where the tenure is 66. So I want to find out the number of such customers where the tenure is 66. So it is very simple. I'll pass this in the len function. Len function will give you the length of the data frame. If you remember in the start, we have seen the length of the data frame was 8. So I pass this filtered data frame now into the len function. So this is my filtered data. Filtered as in the filter is there, and after the filter, whatever the records are there, that I am passing in the len function. And you can see here that the output is 2. Now you can do anything with it. You can store this in X, any variable. Not an issue. You just store it. You can print it. So it is very much like you can apply any kind of calculation over it. So now what you do, you have printed it. So there are 2 such customers. You can give a message, number of customers, if you want to give a caption. So number of customers X, and I press enter. So you can get number of customers. So that is how we can apply filter on the database. So this is about it. Let's quickly see what is compound condition. So in the compound condition, just a moment, I'm giving you head once again so that you can see the column names. Compound condition means that I am giving more than one condition now to filter the data. Now let's assume that my boss is saying that give me the list of those people whose tenure is let's say 24 or maybe greater than 40, and their payment method is NEFT. So there are 2 conditions. So how will I go about it? So first thing I have to do is, I'm just writing the rough condition just to teach you how to make conditions. So first is I write tenure greater than, let's say, 45. This is my first condition. And my second condition is payment method. I'm equating it equal to NEFT. So now these are my 2 conditions. Now keep one thing in mind, that this tenure belongs to the df data frame. So it is called as df.tenure, and here it is called as df.payment. So supposingly I just press enter over here, I will get the Boolean output. Okay, just a moment. Sometimes there is issue of operators. So to be on a safer side, we can do this also. We can put in square brackets and the quotes. It is df, right? So what I'm doing is I'm putting in square brackets and payment method, right? So is equal to NEFT. So this is my one condition. What I'm doing, I'm also enclosing this in round brackets, because when you are not putting in round brackets, then there are chances of error. So let's see what comes. Yes. So now you can see false, 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 true, true. So this true, true means that this record is satisfying both the conditions. This record has tenure greater than 45 and payment method is also NEFT. So we have just got the true, false. That as of now, for every record, what is the status? So we got 1, 2, 3, 4. 4 such records are there, and this data type is bool. Bool means boolean. Now I want to see only my data. So what I will do, I will put everything in square brackets and I'll get my result. So this is my result. Now this is my result. Now what else I want to do? This is my little result, and now suppose I want to store it in a variable. So I can do that? Yes, I can do that. So I have stored everything in X. So X is what? X is my variable where I have stored the data. Now suppose I want to have, let's say, sum of monthly charges for such records. These are my records where tenure is 45 and payment method is NEFT, and I want to have sum of such charges. So what I can do, I can apply X. X is what? This is my variable. I want to have sum of monthly charges. So this is my column which I'm calling, and here I'm writing sum. So 796 is the answer. So this is the sum of what? This is the sum of all wherever there is NEFT. So wherever there is NEFT, it is 796. Alternate way of doing this is that though I have stored everything in X over here, directly also I can do it. See how I'm doing it. I paste it here. I write over here monthly charges and sum. So I'm doing sum over here. So you can see 796. The only thing is that I have to write the entire condition, and sometimes it is good to store the intermediate results in a variable and then apply the result on the intermediate variable, the successive functions on the intermediate variable. So this X is basically a intermediate variable where I was storing. So answer is same. This is one thing that we have understood. Now next we will be understanding that how to calculate the group totals. Now when I'm saying group totals, it means suppose I have DF and I want to show you all the payment methods. Okay, so you can see over here I'm just copying from there, and it's a good way to copy the field names, the column names, because otherwise you will commit mistakes. So you can see over here the payment method is NEFT, 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 and yes, there is IMPS and there is cash. So there are two more types of payment methods. So suppose first of all I want to know how many types of payment methods are there. So one way to find out how many types of payment methods are there is I write DF. Sorry, I'm just pasting it so that you can see how I am reusing the names again and again. So df.payment method, and I write here and I apply here a function unique and I press enter. So you can see over here, you can see over here, just a moment, that NEFT, IMPS and cash are three payment methods. So this is the array data type and three payment methods are there. Now these are the three unique payment methods. So out of the 18 records, only 3 values are existing. That is it means. Now suppose I want to know that how many unique values are there. I don't want the names. I just want to know how many unique values there. So what I will do, n unique. So I get 3. So 3 unique. Now my question is that I want to know how many people have opted for NEFT, how many are choosing IMPS, and how many are choosing cash. That is my concern. That is my question. So how can I do it? So we basically use a function which is called as value counts. There is a function called as value counts, which is extremely useful, very useful function, and I really like this function very much because It is a very quick function